Good morning, students. So, after completion of the torque on a current loop in the last session, we are told that we are entering in the new thing, that is moving coil galvanometer. There are certain things left according to the NCERT. One is the moving charge makes an angle with the direction of the magnetic field, and second one, the atom acts as a magnetic dipole. By completion of these two factors, we come across moving coil galvanometer. Then first one, moving charge makes an angle with the direction of the magnetic field. Now I go for coordinate system. X-axis, Y-axis and Z-axis. I take the direction of the magnetic field is along Z-axis. You take in any direction. Now this is the direction of the magnetic field. Now this is the velocity of the charged particle makes an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field. Now this V is resolved into two components. One is horizontal component, another one is vertical component. Now this is nothing but parallel component, horizontal component, and this is nothing but perpendicular component, V perpendicular. Now this is nothing but the plane. Now this is my figure. So the charged particle is moving in the region of magnetic field by making an angle theta, and it is resolved into two components. One is horizontal component and another one is that is vertical component. Now parallel component along the direction of the magnetic field, another one is perpendicular component. Then now this is the direction of the force. Force is perpendicular to both perpendicular component and direction of the magnetic field. Now this is the direction of the force experienced by the charged particle. I come across the motion of the charged particle. So this is the direction of the magnetic field. Parallel component is here. So this is the charged particle plus q moving with the velocity perpendicular component and the direction of the force. And this charged particle moves along the direction of the magnetic field. The parallel component makes the charged particle to move along the direction of the magnetic field to trace the helical path. Now this is the path traced by the charged particle with the help of what? Parallel component, that makes the parallel component make the charged particle to move along the direction of the magnetic field, and the path traced, that is nothing but what? Helical path. Now this is called helix. The distance covered by the charged particle for one complete rotation, now this distance is called here pitch, that is called P-I-T-C-H, pitch. Our aim is to calculate the pitch. Which component is responsible for that? Parallel component. So I go for two terms. One is for perpendicular component. For perpendicular component, the radius r equals to mv by qb. Already we have studied. Which component makes the charged particle to move in a circular path? That is nothing but with velocity perpendicular component. So m, what is v? V perpendicular, v sin theta. Parallel component, v cos theta divided by qb. Right? Then what is the time period? Time period equals to distance by velocity. Which velocity? Perpendicular component distance 2 pi r divided by v perpendicular. So time period t equals to 2 pi. What is v perpendicular? V sin theta. What is r? mv sin theta divided by qb. So v sin theta get cancels. Time period t equals to 2 pi m by qb. Now this is our equation. Everything will be here. Right? इसको मैं extension कर लेता हूँ. For perpendicular component, that is circular path is traced with the velocity perpendicular component velocity, then r equals to me by qb. Which velocity is responsible to move in a circular path? That is nothing but what? Perpendicular component v sin theta, parallel component v sin, that is v cos theta. V parallel is equals to v cos theta. V perpendicular, that is horizontal component and vertical component, v sin theta. Right? Now this is for perpendicular component. Now this component makes the charged particle to move along the direction of the magnetic field and trace the helical path. Which component is responsible? V parallel. Then I want to calculate the pith. That is nothing but the distance traveled by the charged particle for one complete rotation. Now this is nothing but what? Pith. So for parallel component, shall I remove this figure? Yes. For parallel component, distance equals to velocity equals to displacement by time, that is distance covered in a particular direction, distance equals to velocity parallel into time. For one complete rotation, time period is t. So distance equals to velocity equals to distance by time. Right? So this distance is nothing but pith. V parallel, v cos theta. What is the time period? 2 pi m by qb. Oh, pith is equals to 2 pi m into v cos theta divided by qb. This is my equation required. Right? This is for charged particle tracing the helical path. Which component is responsible? Parallel component makes the charged particle to move along the direction of the magnetic field. That is the distance traveled during one complete rotation by the charge, the pith. So v cos theta, that is parallel component, time period t equals to 2 pi m divided by qb. Write in good manner. Now this is about the charged particle makes an angle with the direction of the magnetic field. Is it clear? Then after this, let me come across an atom act as a magnetic dipole. When it acts as a magnetic dipole, it means that it consists of both north pole and south pole. There is the existence of the dipole moment. That dipole moment m equals to, for the current loop, it is given by the product of current and area of a loop. M equals to I into A. By using this concept, I go for what? Atom act as a magnetic dipole. Is it clear? Shall I go for the next thing? Yes. The atom act as a magnetic dipole. Atom is a magnetic dipole. Atom is a magnetic dipole. Yes, let me come across atom as a magnetic dipole. Magnetic dipole. As in an atom, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. The rotation of the electron around the nucleus is considered as a current loop. When it is considered as a current loop, then we know that One face is acting as a north pole, another one is acting as a south pole. Hence, it acts as a magnetic dipole. Wherever the existence of the magnetic dipole, there must be the existence of what? Magnetic dipole moment. Hence, atom as a magnetic dipole. So, I take the central core material of the atom nucleus. The electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular orbit. This is R with a velocity v, and this is nothing but the axis of rotation. That is nothing but it possesses the angular momentum L. Then my aim is to calculate the magnetic dipole moment of an atom by considering the circular path of an electron around the nucleus as a current loop. So, we know that magnetic dipole moment L equals to P into R, that is nothing but mvr, where m is nothing but mass of the electron, L equals to mass of the electron V into R. Shall I keep here? Yes. Then the time taken for one complete rotation, that is nothing but T equals to the distance covered on complete rotation 2 pi r by V. So, what is that? D by V, displacement, that is distance covered on complete rotation, that is nothing but circumference 2 pi r divided by V, right? Then I need magnetic dipole moment, but I equals to, that is magnetic dipole moment M equals to the product of current and area of a loop. Then I equals to Q by T. Q is nothing but any for one electron, E divided by time taken T, area, that is nothing but pi r square, right? Then M equals to E pi r square. What is T? 2 pi r by V. 1 pi get cancels, R cancel, here pi r cancel, E into R V divided by 2. This V goes to the numerator, pi get cancelled, 1 R get cancels, ERV divided by 2. But here, shall I write VR equals to L by mass of the electron, because during the circular motion it possesses what? Angular momentum L. Shall I write here? Therefore, magnetic dipole moment M equals, shall I write? E by 2. Is it VR? Separate लिख सकते हो भाई, for easy understanding. So M equals to E by 2, VR equals to L by ME. This is your magnetic dipole moment. Right? When I come across the single electron for only one orbit, then I go for Bohr. According to the Bohr's quantization rule, from Bohr's quantization rule, angular momentum L equals to an integral multiple of h divided by 2 pi. Angular momentum L equals to an integral multiple of h divided by 2 pi. We have got the proof for that in the atomic physics. Shall I substitute L here? L value M equals to E divided by 2me. What is L? NH divided by 2 pi. So magnetic dipole moment NEH divided by 4 pi ME. This is the magnetic dipole moment of an atom where N equals to 1, 2, 3. n equals to 1, 2, 3. It should be understood. N equals to 1, 2, 3 dash dash. N is nothing but principal quantum number. Now this equation represents the magnetic dipole moment of an atom. Just गौर करो इक्वेशन, पूरे इक्वेशन से इधर है. What is the magnetic dipole moment of an atom? NEH divided by 4 pi mass of the electron, where n is the principal quantum number, h is the Planck's constant, 4 pi is the constant, where m is the mass of the electron. Right? Then after this, there is one more important factor, that is Bohr's magneton. Bohr's magneton, by considering n equals to 1 for hydrogen atom. If I consider n equals to 1, then what is the value for that Bohr's magneton? If I take n equals to 1 for hydrogen atom, then m equals to is written as Bohr's magneton. Shall I go for Bohr's magneton? By considering n equals to 1 for hydrogen atom, for single orbit, Bohr's magneton. Bohr's magneton, mu b, Bohr's magneton. Let m equals to NEH divided by 4 pi me. If n equals to 1 for hydrogen atom and mu equals to m equals to magnetic dipole moment, this is Bohr's magneton, mu b, then m equals to EH divided by 4 pi mass of the electron, this is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19, and Planck constant 6 point, shall I write here, जगह यूज कर लेता हूँ, n 1 है, EH divided by 4 pi me. 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb charge of the electron, H 6.25 into 10 to the power of minus 34 kg. 34, that is Planck's constant, H 4 pi 4 into 3.14, mass of the electron 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg, mass of the electron. By substituting all these values and do the necessary cancellation, then value, this becomes what? Shall I call mu b, Bohr's magneton, 9.27 into 10 to the power of minus 24 ampere meter square. This is the value of Bohr's magneton. देख लो एक बार. If I go for the hydrogen atom and having n equals to 1 for the single orbit, then m becomes what? Bohr's magneton, mu b. The value of the Bohr's magneton is 9.27 into 10 to the power minus 24 ampere meter square. Now this is about atom as a magnetic dipole. एक बार पूरा इक्वेशन ग्लांस करो, सिंपल इक्वेशन है. Right? Then shall I go for moving coil galvanometer? Yes. निकाल दो इससे? Yeah. Then let me come across the important thing of the topic, moving coil galvanometer. What is that? Moving coil galvanometer. Then what is the importance of moving coil galvanometer? Then what is the principle behind it? Moving coil galvanometer is a device which is used to measure very feeble amount of the current, 10 to the power of minus 8 ampere to 10 to the power of minus 10 ampere. This much of the small amount of the current cannot be detected with any laboratory devices except moving coil galvanometer. To detect very small amount of the current, 10 to the power of -8 to 10 to the power of -10 ampere, there is only one device, that is moving coil galvanometer. Now this moving coil galvanometer, based on the principle of mechanical effect of electric current, this moving coil galvanometer is based on the principle mechanical effect of electric current. Then what is that moving coil galvanometer consist? Moving coil galvanometer. Moving coil galvanometer. It is also called suspended coil galvanometer. The coil is suspended. The moving coil galvanometer consists of a concave pole pieces of magnet. Two powerful concave pole pieces of the magnet. One is north, another one is south, which are concave in shape. Why the concave shape is preferred here? When I take both the shapes very closer, what it gives? Circular type. The magnetic field is distributed along the radius. To achieve the radial magnetic field, we take the concave pole pieces of the magnet to have the radial magnetic field. A coil of n number of turns, a rectangular coil of n number of turns, with the help of phosphorus bronze as a suspension strip, is suspended in between the two pole pieces of the magnet, and it is connected to the torsion head H, and the lower end is connected to a with spring like suspension with terminal T1, and upper end torsion head goes to the another terminal. I call this is T1, this is T2, so that you give the battery connection and pass the current through the coil. And inside the coil, there is a soft iron cylinder, which is ferromagnetic in nature. Already there is a strong magnetic field which is along the radius, radial magnetic field. Even though having the radial magnetic field, I place one more thing inside the coil, that is nothing but soft iron cylinder that is fixed, so that it cannot be in contact with the coil. During the rotation there should not be friction created. Now it is made up of soft iron. Soft iron belongs to what? Ferromagnetic material. Ferromagnetic materials having the property, by keeping in a weak magnetic field, it becomes what? Strongly magnetized. To increase the strength of the magnetic field, once again, we take the soft iron core cylinder inside the coil, which is mounted fixed, pivoted. Then, so there is, to measure the current, we use the method lamp and scale arrangement. There is a concave mirror of larger radius of curvature, which is attached to the suspension strip. Concave mirror of larger radius of curvature, so that with the help of this concave mirror and the bulb arrangement, we have got the lamp and scale arrangement, we can detect the feeble amount of the current on the scale. For that, we take the concave mirror of larger radius of curvature that is attached to the suspension strip. That suspension is nothing but phosphorus bronze, which is highly elastic in nature. By passing the current through T1 and T2, the current is flowing through the coil. The vertical sides of the coil experiences the force, which are equal in magnitude but opposite direction, acting at a 2 point. Hence, they constitute the couple or torque. Due to that, the coil is rotated. Due to rotation of the coil, the mirror rotates. The light is made to be incident on that mirror, so it gets reflected, and that reflected spot of the light is available on the scale. By knowing the position of the spot on the scale, we can determine the current. The small amount, feeble amount of current is detected with the help of what? Lamp and scale arrangement. Now this is our arrangement. Then how it works? By passing the current through the terminals T1 and T2, the current is passed through the coil. The vertical sides of the coil experiences the force, which are equal in magnitude but opposite direction, constitute the couple or torque that brings the rotation in the coil. Due to that rotation of the coil, the mirror is get rotated. The light is made to be incident on the mirror. The spot is going to be available on the scale. By knowing the position of the spot on the scale, we can determine the current, and that method is called lamp and scale arrangement. Isn't it? Yes. Then it has got its own theory, that is nothing but theory of moving coil galvanometer. For examination section, we need what? Theory of moving coil galvanometer. Now this is about the moving coil galvanometer construction and its working. After the completion of moving coil galvanometer construction and its working, let me come across main thing, that is the theory of moving coil galvanometer. Theory of moving coil galvanometer. What that theory of moving coil galvanometer tells, there is a radial magnetic field, that is nothing but uniform magnetic field along the radius. Now this is the magnetic field where the coil is suspended. Where the coil is suspended. This is the direction of the magnetic field. Right? Yes. Now, this is a suspension strip and this is a lower end connected to the spring. Now, this is having length L, breadth B. Now, there is a flow of current I. Current is flowing through the coil. Right. When the current is passed through the coil, the horizontal sides of the coils are parallel to the direction of the magnetic field, hence they do not experience the force. But the vertical sides are perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. They experience the force such that the two forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, acting at two different points, constitute the couple or torque. And that torque or couple makes the coils to be rotate, and this couple is called deflecting couple. And this couple is called deflecting couple. So, deflecting couple shall I mention it? CD. Deflecting couple, force into perpendicular distance. Force BIL sin theta perpendicular distance, that is nothing but breadth. Magnetic field, that is nothing but the coil is, the vertical sides are perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, theta equals to 90 degree, CD equals to BIL sin 91 into B. So, for n turns, shall I write BIL into B multiplied by n, CD equals to, shall I write small n, स्मॉल एन लिखो, फर्क क्या पड़ने वाला. लेंथ इंटू ब्रेड्थ एरिया ऑफ ए रेक्टेंगुलर कॉइल इंटू एन. शैल आई राइट नाबी और नबी याद रखने के लिए. Where n is the number of turns, a is the area of a rectangular coil, b is the magnetic field and I is the current through the coil. कैसे याद रख सकते? नबी और कन्नड़ा, in Kannada we can say that nabi. I call this is equation number 1. Right? Now this is the deflecting couple NABI. When the coil is rotated, the coil is suspended with the help of what? Suspension strip. Then the suspension strip, when suspension strip is rotated, the torsion is created and it is accumulated at the torsion head. When the torsion is released, it rotated in opposite direction and that is called torsional couple. And that couple is called torsional couple. Due to release of the torsion, once again the coil is rotated opposite direction as that of the earlier, and that couple is called a torsional couple. One release of torsion, one rotation. Again release of the torsion, again rotation. Hence, torsional couple CT is due to the rotation, due to release of the torsion, the coil rotated. When the coil is rotated, it makes an angle theta. For one rotation, what is the angle? 360 degree. Two rotation, 2 into 360 degree. Hence, the torsional couple CT is directly proportional to angle of rotation theta. When I solve this one, CT equals to C into theta, where C is the proportional constant, that is called moment of couple per unit twist. That is nothing but C. That C depends on nature of the suspension strip, where CT is nothing but torsional couple is directly proportional to theta. Then when it is solved, the proportional constant is called C. C is nothing but the proportional constant moment of couple per unit twist. How long the coil is going to goes on rotating? It must comes to the rest condition. So, to have the rest condition in the rotational motion, sum of the clockwise moment is equals to sum of the anti-clockwise moment. Now, this is the balancing condition for rotational motion. I need what? Balancing condition. For balance, shall I remove this one? For balance, clockwise moment CD is equals to anti-clockwise moment CT. The deflecting couple is balanced by torsional couple. One rotates in clockwise direction, another rotates in anti-clockwise direction because of release of what? Torsion in the coil. Hence, sum of the clockwise moments is equals to sum of the anti-clockwise moment. That is nothing but the deflecting couple is equals to torsional couple. This is nothing but balancing condition. So, NABI is equals to C into theta. I want to measure the current from the device. Hence, I set the equation for current I equals to C divided by NAB. Shall I write? Theta separate. C is constant. Number of turns in the coil is constant. Area of a coil is constant. Magnetic field is maintained constant. Uniform magnetic field. This complete term is constant. Here, K equals to C divided by NAB is equals to constant. I equals to K into theta equals to K removed proportional. Where K is called current reduction factor. Where K is called the reduction factor. Now this is our theory of moving coil galvanometer. Current through the coil is directly proportional to the deflection produced. The current through the coil is directly proportional to the deflection produced in the coil. पूरा एक बार देख लो, ग्लांस करो. सिंपलेस्ट इक्वेशन है, कुछ भी नहीं है. पूरे आपके सामने एक फिगर है. Then I made the theory of moving coil galvanometer. What is the conclusion? The current through the coil is directly proportional to the deflection produced, that is nothing but theta. Is it clear? Yes. एक बार पूरा अच्छी तरह से ग्लांस कर लो. यहाँ पे थीटा इक्वल्स टू 90 डिग्री दिया सो है. थीटा इक्वल्स टू 90 डिग्री लिख दो इधर, बिकॉज थीटा इक्वल्स टू 90 डिग्री. वहाँ पे हम मिटा दिए सो, यहाँ पे फिर कंफ्यूज मत हो जाओ. साइन 90 इक्वल्स टू 1. Is it clear or shall I go for once again? No. So in the next class we come across the drawbacks of moving coil galvanometer, then how to rectify it. What is that? Your laboratory galvanometer, right? Next class we come across drawbacks, then how to overcome this moving coil galvanometer by using your laboratory galvanometer. Is it clear? Yes. Okay, let me continue in the next class. Thank you.